Hi, and welcome to another growth module. This one's about what are your business developers doing each day. One of the common misconceptions with many agencies that I worked in is that they want to focus on growth in their business. So what they do is they go out and they employ a business development manager or a business development officer or a growth team member into their business. Now that's all they do. They expect that that particular person knows exactly what they're doing and that their business will automatically grow. In most cases, what you find is that that new business or that new growth person is actually just facilitating leads from the sales team or coming out of the property management division and just closing those. And they would have generally come into the business anyway, and they would have just been managed by your property management team, and they probably have in the past. So really what you're doing is you're not leveraging any sort of growth off that particular team member. They're just facilitating the existing growth in the office. Now, there is a misconception that business development team members are actually formally trained, and that's actually not true. In most cases, I would have to say 80% of the business developers that I work with aren't formally trained in growth strategies and understanding their market. So it's really important as a business owner or a business manager that you're actually providing guidelines for your growth team members and what they need to do. So let's have a quick look at what they probably should be doing at quite a high level. Now, there are position descriptions available within the learning module, so you can have a look in more detail what they should be doing. But let's just have a look at the higher level stuff, and let's look at the highest level what the productivity of a growth team member is. So if you've got one growth team member, we believe that they can only write about 15 to 18 properties comfortably a month. Now, that's not gospel. I know of people that are writing 20 and 25 properties. They're doing an awesome job. Also know of people that write 8 properties a month, and that's quite acceptable to their growth team. But let's have a look at a full-time equivalent growth person, and we believe that they can only do 15 to 18 properties a month. Now, why is that? Because the duties that a business development officer or a growth team member should be doing start right from canvassing inquiries, creating new leads, creating a profile in the community, attending public functions and school fetes, and all those things around creating a profile in the community, visiting local shopkeepers, all that sort of stuff. They're also in charge of building out their database, so making sure they're just for a ballpark figure that they're adding 30 new names a week into your database. And they're authenticated names. They're people that they actually have proper contact details, a name, a property address, an email, and a phone number. So trying to build out that database, that's also part of that role. And then, of course, authenticating that database by ringing those people and finding out, are they interested in buying in the next couple of months? Or do they have an existing rental property that they want to move to another agency? Or are they self-managing and they want to bring it on board? So authenticating that database and understanding where those people are sitting along your engagement funnel. So that's definitely all part of what the growth team should be doing. Now, of course, then we move into closing, which is around making sure that they're selling the business, they're selling the brand, and they can get signature on paper. And that's, while that's the quickest function, that's obviously the most important part to the business. And then post-contract, we have things like preparing the property for rent, onboarding the new owner, leasing the property to the new tenant, and then setting that up and the lease and stuff and things like that for the new tenant. So there's actually quite a lengthy process, and there's some of it that I haven't covered as well, but you can understand that if you're doing all that every week every month as a business development officer or a growth team member, then you can't get more than 15 to 18 properties a month. Now, those things all need to be set in place. So you need to put KPIs around all those particular tasks, particularly around growing, authenticating the database. So you may have things like you need to add 30 new names to the database every month. It might be you need to call 15 people a week. It might be you need to door knock 10 people a week. And these all are actual KPIs you need to put in place because the growth people aren't formally trained and they don't know what they're doing, and you need to guide them. And the only way to guide them is to put KPIs in place surrounding a position description that you've created for them. So this is really important to actually leverage the most out of your growth team. So they're not just facilitating leads from your sales team or from your property management department. So I think if you work through that, built out a position description, attached KPIs to those position descriptions, then what happens is you now have a high-performing business development manager that can do that 15 to 18 properties a month. Now, if you want them to do more, you have to think about all the tasks that you can now remove from them. So that's just a full-time equivalent staff member. So if you want them to go 30 properties a month, then you have to remove half the tasks from them. So maybe there's some portions around database management, maybe all the leasing process, from the time you sign the contract right through the leasing process, owner onboarding. Maybe that's outsourced to a different team member of the growth team. And likewise, if you wanted to go to 45 properties a month, then maybe there's a whole new role there around generating leads in the business. And then the business development manager or the business development or the growth team member is just a closer. All they're doing is they're just phoning leads and closing. So you need to think about that. So then that person can be doing 45 new properties a month to the business. And that's a huge capital asset over a 12-month period. So you need to look at what they're doing and how that works. So quite important, position description, KPIs, understand what your growth person is doing. Don't just employ them and expect them to know what they're going to do and expect to get leverage off them. Thanks.